If you've been feeling tired, discouraged, or ready to give up, then this message is for you. Stay until the end. One sentence may shift your life forever. Welcome to Victory Mind, where faith meets strength and hearts find hope again. Every person reaches a moment where the weight feels too much to carry, where the prayers seem unanswered, where the journey feels longer than your strength. But remember, when your power ends, God's power begins. You did not come this far on your own. You were carried by grace. There are moments in life when the weight becomes so heavy that even breathing feels like work. When you wake up in the morning and the first thing you feel is exhaustion, not from a lack of sleep, but from the silent battles you've been fighting alone. When your prayers feel like they echo back to you and your heart whispers, maybe this is where it ends. But listen to me. The moment when you feel like giving up is often the exact moment when God is preparing to move in ways you cannot yet see. We look at our circumstances and think that God has forgotten us, abandoned us, or turned his face away. But God is often the most silent when he is the most deeply at work. Just like the seed buried in the ground, unseen, unnoticed, covered in darkness, is in the process of becoming what it was destined to be. You cannot see the growth happening beneath the soil, but that does not mean the growth isn't real. Some of the greatest miracles in your life are happening right now in places your eyes cannot see. You may feel like life has pressed you to your limits. You may feel like the doors you prayed for have remained closed longer than you expected. You may feel like you have poured your heart out and received nothing in return. But do you know what God does when you reach that point? He steps in. Because your strength was never meant to carry your destiny. Your effort alone was never meant to shape your future. God allows you to come to the end of yourself so that you can discover the beginning of him. When Abraham reached the end of his patience, God fulfilled the promise. When Moses reached the end of his courage, God parted the sea. When Elijah reached the end of his hope, God sent an angel to strengthen him. When Jesus reached the end of his earthly mission, the stone rolled away and glory filled the earth. God has a history of showing up when human strength reaches its final breath. You think the battle you're facing is a sign that God has left you, but the battle is actually the evidence that you are important to him. The enemy does not fight what he is not threatened by. The attacks are loud because your calling is great. The pressure is strong because your purpose is significant. The pain is deep because your assignment carries eternal weight. The storm you are in does not mean you are lost. It means you are crossing to the other side. And yes, right now it may look like nothing is working. Right now it may feel like heaven is quiet. Right now it may seem like your efforts are invisible. But hear me, silence is not absence. Delay is not denial. Waiting is not wasting. God is shaping you, preparing you, strengthening you in ways that will only make sense once the breakthrough arrives. You see, the enemy wants you to give up right before the miracle happens. He wants you to surrender right before the blessing arrives. He wants you to stop praying right before the door opens. Because he knows something you don't. You are closer than you think. The breakthrough is not far from you. It is near. The transformation is not beyond reach. It is in process. The promise is not dead. It is maturing. But you must hold on, not because you are strong, but because God is. Not because you have all the answers, but because God never leaves the faithful unanswered. Every tear you have shed, every night you stayed awake, every moment you held yourself together when everything inside you was breaking, God has seen it. And God is not untouched by your pain. Scripture says he is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. When your heart breaks, his heart moves. When your strength fails, his grace begins. When your hope trembles, his promise stands firm. You may think you are fighting alone, but heaven is fighting for you. There are angels assigned to your story. There are miracles already written with your name on them. There are blessings in motion even when your life feels still. You are not forsaken. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible to God. The waiting you are in is not punishment, and it is preparation. The struggle you are facing is not failure. It is shaping. The pain you are carrying is not meaningless. It is producing strength, endurance, and faith. God is working in rooms you cannot enter, speaking in conversations you cannot hear, and moving through situations you did not even know existed. He is aligning timing, positioning hearts, and clearing paths. He is preparing people to bless you, preparing opportunities to find you, and preparing peace to rest upon you. But the miracle requires one thing from you. Don't give up. If you stop now, you will never see what God was about to do. If you quit now, you will never know why the waiting was worth it. If you give up now, you will never experience the beauty that grows from storms survived. Hold on, even if your hands are trembling. Hold on, even if your heart feels weak. Hold on, even if your hope feels small. Because God does His greatest work in the dark, and then joy comes in the morning. The night will not last forever. The valley is not your home. The pain is not your identity. The struggle is not your destiny. You are walking through this, not staying in it. You will rise again. You will breathe again. You will feel joy again. God is not done. Your story is not finished. This chapter is heavy, but the next chapter is glory. Sometimes the hardest battles are not the ones people can see on the outside, but the battles that happen quietly inside the heart. The kind that no one recognizes because you learned how to smile while hurting, how to show strength while trembling, how to keep walking while your soul fights not to collapse. But God sees what others do not see. When others think you are okay because you keep showing up, God sees the tears you cry when no one is around. When others think you have moved on, God sees the scars that still ache. When others think you are strong, God sees the moments when you tell yourself, "I don't know how to do this anymore." And it is exactly in those hidden, silent, private moments where God meets you most deeply. Because God is not impressed by the mask. He heals the broken heart behind it. There are people who walked away from you, and you thought their absence ruined your life. But their leaving made room for what God is bringing. There are prayers you thought God ignored. But God didn't ignore them. He redirected them. Because sometimes what you want is smaller than what God has planned. Sometimes what you think you lost is actually what God removed to protect you. Sometimes what you call delay is really God saying, "Not yet, I am still building the blessing to its full beauty." Because God is not a God of halfway miracles. When He heals, He restores fully. When He builds, He strengthens completely. When He blesses, He exceeds beyond what you asked. And this is exactly why the enemy is fighting you so hard. Not because you are weak, but because you are about to step into something strong. You are growing in ways you do not even realize. You are becoming stronger in silence. You are learning patience in waiting. You are discovering faith in the dark. You are letting go of what you cannot control. You are becoming someone who trusts God more deeply, more honestly, more sincerely. There is growth happening right now in the parts of you that once lived in fear. There is healing happening right now in the places where you once felt broken. There is peace forming right now in the storms that used to drown you. Do not underestimate what God is doing simply because you cannot see it yet. A seed does not look like a tree. A wound does not look like healing. A beginning does not look like a masterpiece. But everything great begins in hidden places. Right now, God is teaching you that faith is not just believing when everything is going right. Faith is believing when nothing makes sense. Faith is standing when your legs feel weak. Faith is trusting when the answer is still unseen. Faith is praising when the tears are still falling. Faith is saying, "God, I will keep walking even without understanding." And when you live in that kind of faith, mountains move, chains break, doors open, peace flows, strength rises, because God moves in response to faith, not fear. The enemy wants to wear you down so you will surrender your faith. But God is using this season to show you that faith cannot be broken by the enemy, because faith is sustained by God. There will come a moment, sooner than you think, when everything you have been praying for begins to unfold. And when that moment comes, you will look back and say, "Now I understand why it took so long. Now I see why God didn't let certain things work out. Now I realize that the waiting was worth it." The tears will make sense. The delays will make sense. The losses will make sense. Because God was not punishing you, He was positioning you. He was shaping you into someone who can hold the blessing without letting the blessing destroy you. Anyone can receive a blessing, but not everyone has the character to carry one. God has been building that character inside you, slowly, gently, faithfully. So do not let the voice of discouragement speak louder than the voice of truth. Do not let your exhaustion convince you to surrender your destiny. Do not let temporary pain cause permanent regret. You have come too far to give up now. You have survived things that were meant to break you. You have walked through valleys that should have taken your life. You have risen from disappointments that could have destroyed your hope. You are stronger than you realize. You are wiser than before. You are more prepared than you were. And the God who carried you through every previous storm is the same God who is carrying you now. You will rise again. You will smile again. You will feel peace again. You will love again. You will rebuild again. You will dream again. Because God is not finished with you. Your story is still being written, and the chapter that is coming is so much better than the chapter you are leaving. One day soon, you will step into the very thing you stayed faithful for. And when you do, you will whisper to yourself, "It was worth it. Every tear was worth it. Every prayer was worth it. Every waiting day was worth it." Because when God fulfills a promise, He fulfills it beautifully. So hold on. Your miracle is already moving. Your breakthrough is already forming. Your blessing is already rising. You are closer than you think. Don't quit now. Not here. Not this close. God is with you. God is for you. God is working through you. And God will not fail you. This is not the time to stop. Not the time to quit. You are closer than you think. The breakthrough you prayed for is already on its way. Hold on, just a little longer. If this message touched your heart, remember, you are not alone. Your purpose is alive. Your God is awake. Keep going. The road opens for those who refuse to quit. This is Victory Mind, reminding you, your future is greater than your fear. May God bless you and surround you with His peace. Amen.